is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Coast to Coast podcast. I messed it up. I said I wasn't going to mess it up, and I still messed it up. But welcome to episode 2 of the Coast to Coast podcast, man. We got Meech, we got SpacialJones. We had a lot to talk about. We had a 2K launch last time we got together. We were just in that waiting room, all anxious, all itching and scratching in a corner, waiting for 2K to drop, and now it's here. We've got a week under our belts. We got a lot to talk about, man. So, boys, what's up, man? How y'all doing?
Cooling. I'm ready for today, man. I got some things I got to do today on the game. So, hey, man, we ready? We good.
I'm good too, man. I'm like Meech, ready to get my championship ring today in my team, and hopefully I can shoot a little bit better than my showing on stream yesterday. So, got to get some more time in.
It's been a little tough, especially like in the higher difficulty levels. I was playing in Dom on Superstar and then Hoff, and man, it's no joke. It's no joke out there. I haven't been on the rec side yet, but I hear that's interesting too.
It's lovely.
But let's kick it off, man. So we had a 2K launch. We've had about a week with it. What was the very first thing? And we'll go Spatial, then Meech, and we'll circle around that way. So what was the very first thing you did when you got your hands on the game and you turned it on?
For me, man, y'all know what it is, man. Right into my team. I immediately got to my packs and built my team and tried to get to grinding pretty quickly. I just wanted to really explore the mode, especially after playing at the testing event. I can talk about that now, and community day. So it was really, really fun. Lots to discover and just kind of wrap my head around like this whole new like my team environment.
Yeah, it's a brand new experience for sure. Meech, man, what was the first thing that you did as soon as you turned it on, as soon as it was ready to go?
Man, so really, as soon as I turned it on, well, the initial phase of it, I was in New Zealand. I took a trip out. It's an expensive ticket, but we was out there in New Zealand. So the first thing I did, I just hopped into my player builder actually. I was kind of messing around with that, seeing since I'm doing both modes. But then after that, I really was just in 2KU for a little bit. But I was really just kind of testing people out, I was in play now a little bit, just kind of testing out, different players and of different like attribute ranges and changing the difficulty up and down, seeing what was needed to shoot on this, what was needed to, just how it felt in general. So then by the time like it released on PlayStation, I was just right into my team, man. I had quite a bit of cards from the pre-order. I want to say like I immediately jumped in unlimited once my team came out. Like I
So
put a few cards.
You're just a sweat at heart. You just can't get around it. You're just a sweat at heart.
It took too much time. I'm sweating, so I had to.
I hear you, man. I hear you. I mean, the first thing I always do, it's kind of a tradition. I hop into 2KU into freestyle with the Kobe, with Prime Kobe. See how he feels. Kind of my baseline of like what's different. How it moves, how it feels, the weighting of the foot planning, shooting, et cetera, et cetera. And that felt good. And then after spending a little bit of time in that, a little bit of time in scrimmage, I jumped into a quick play eras just against the CPU. And I scooped up the 2003 or 2001, whatever, Clippers, the Elton Brand team.
Yeah.
Jumping to there, I got into a game against the Jazz, the 98 Jazz or 99 Jazz or something like that. Or whatever that same year Jazz is. Got in there, got a nice little dunk with Elton Brand over Greg Ostertag. Shout out Cheap Ludes, Just had to posterize Ostertag. And then I eventually jumped into my team. It took a while to jump into my team. Actually, it took me until the first time I streamed 2K to get into my team. I wanted to kind of go through that process on stream, so I kind of held out. But it was fun, man. Let's jump into impressions. What was the first thing that kind of stood out to you guys? As far as just like that first, like, okay, and you played it before, Jones, so it might be a little different experience for you. But what was the first thing that stood out to you, Spatial, as far as a difference from last year over this year?
I mean, for me with my team, I had a different mindset. Obviously we got the blog right, everybody kind of knew that this was going to be different. So what I wanted to do was approach it the way I approached it every year. And I wanted to see how I felt. So every year, probably the last 3 or 4 or 5 years, I go big. I do like a $200 pack opening. The goal is on launch to obviously accumulate enough MT to where I can buy something later or whatever the case may be. Because that's kind of how we existed in the other iterations of my team. However, I got, a bunch of players. I think I ended up with like 250 MT, 250K, and I had virtually everybody I wanted, and I didn't want to spend my MT. And that was probably a good feeling. Like historically in Elevate, you've been in my streams, Meet, you've been in my streams. Your boy Jones, if there's a statistics on like how much, like how long MT can stay in your account, I'm at the top tier. It doesn't stay in my account. So it was kind of nice, man. Like, again, because I'm a bit of a spender. I try to kind of curb it, and that's definitely been my goal now. But I wanted to just see like what was the biggest difference in terms of how I felt once I had some MT in my account.
Fair enough. Meech, same question, man. What was the first thing that stood out to you? Could be gameplay, could be mode wise, whatever. What's the first thing that kind of stood out? Like, okay, we're in a different mode here. We're a different game than 2K23.
I would say for me, it was probably actually the player market. Just because it just, like I said, I mean, that's really like gameplay changes from year to year, stuff like this. But like the player market is just like the biggest difference that we've had in my team. Well, I won't say that because obviously it existed before I even played, so it was a different version of it. But for the past few my teams, I mean, we've always had auction house. So just to get in there, and I was looking at stuff, and you know, Twitter was in a rampage. Some people are like, I love this, and other people are like, oh my god, game's over. They're control the market, all this stuff. But all I could think about, honestly, we still have to kind of wait to see how it kind of works out. Today is actually going to show a little bit is how that market is controlled. What are these prices getting up to? What's the max prices we're going to see? How are they going to scale down? But the only thing I could think of, I was like, okay, all I know is that when I see a KD drop, I can go get KD. I don't have to wait 4 hours. I don't have to wait at the end of that 4 hours that he's a million. And I try to wait because I don't want to spend that MT. And then by the next day, he's 1.5 because who knows what. So it was a little more inviting to me because I was just like, okay, I can log in. I can see what his price is. I know exactly what I need to do, whether I want to put that MT goal to attain it or if I just want to buy it outright. It was just more confident to me that I was like, okay, see player, know I want player, get player, or don't get player. So the player market it was having me go through a lot of different thoughts.
I like it. So let's give a quick one word. So is it you like it better or worse than the auction house player market?
So still like I said, it's still a little early to tell. I don't know how this is gonna.
I'm putting you
once
on
we
the
start
spot right
getting
now. Like I need an answer right now. Just better or worse right now. Player market better or
I'm
worse?
saying right now. Better.
Better. Okay. Spatial better or worse right now?
I agree with Meech. It right now better. That's where I'm at.
Okay.
Subject to change though.
Cool. Caveats. Caveats are cool. They're allowed. I agree. Better. Better right now. We'll see things to play out, but better system right now. We're gonna get into a little bit more of that a little bit later, but I want to keep kind of diving into gameplay. How you guys feeling about gameplay? The gameplay changes from last year, specifically gameplay wise. Give me like a quick little paragraph synopsis. Spatial, we'll start with you, then we'll go to Meech.
Yeah. For the gameplay in general, I'm not gonna rule it just to my team. For me, feels better. I'm a proponent of the slower pace because to me, I just feel like 2K shines a bit better when you can really see the animations, kind of play out, how to maneuver through them and out of them. I just think it makes for a better experience. Outside of Y cuts, kind of being a little OP right now. The gameplay, for the most part, against user to user, feels a bit better than last year. So I'm happy with the current state at least.
Fair. Meech?
Yeah, I want to say better. A big thing for me was from last year, which is matching, which is way too crazy. And I mean, I've seen some stuff, you know, kind of go in, and I'm just like, okay, really? But it's nothing how it was last. I mean, you see more body ups. When you're in that position, most times I would say you get the stop you need if you play, solidified defense on there. And then the pro play stuff is just honestly it's changed a lot because everyone knows my favorite player is KD. So normally the way my team goes, and strictly just off how the gameplay is, I don't know, I don't even know if Kevin Durant ever mo-capped his shot because like it never felt like really KD to me, but just every player has that specific kind of feel to them. When you're playing with them, you feel like you're playing with that player, and it's felt like that. That's a big thing for me too. So just variety, kind of how smooth everyone feels, like a book feels like book, a KD feels like that. So far, even like defenders, like Dumars is like a pest on defense, whereas Kyrie is just not. So I feel like so far gameplay is in a very good spot.
I agree with
I
that
feel like
sentiment
shootings are
too.
maybe a little too easy though. That's one thing I will say. My team was.
The shooting?
Yeah,
Is that what you said? The shooting?
Yeah, I feel like it's a little bit too easy. Like,
Yeah, it depends on who you're using it. I could see as ratings get like a little bit more juice, it's tough out there. As far as me, I agree with a lot of that sentiment. The very first thing that I noticed was the paint defense was tremendously improved. From the state of not being able to get back down as easily when there was that strength, thing that was a big thing last year. Strength didn't really matter. It seemed like you could just somebody way weaker could just back down 2 times and dunk or whatever. So it's kind of funny watching people just try to like aimlessly mash and mash and mash, and it's just like brick, and it's like that's satisfying. I also noticed that early on, like lower tier players, some of them can really move, man. Some of them can really shoot. Some of them can really do this or that.
oh, Kiki
So
Vandeweghe, man, get yourself one for salary, man.
I haven't tried him out yet, but it's really cool to see like some of those starter cards. Mike Bibby's been really cool for me. I don't know if you guys have gotten a chance to use them or not, but so the point is you can find like these cool little gems that like have their deficiencies but have really powerful and viable strengths that can help your team out in a certain way. So you can construct your team in various ways and kind of be successful and kind of like have to pay the price for constructing it that way. And I think that is the absolute top fun part of my team is being able to construct teams different ways and kind of have to pay for some of those choices that you do, but also take advantage of those choices when it kind of the matchups favor you. So overall, I'm liking where it's at. Um, Let me ask you guys also, it might be a little early for this question, but have your first initial impressions changed drastically over the course of being able to play over a week? Is there anything that you felt one way and then it's kind of totally reversed?
yeah. I'll start because my revelation actually came just yesterday, so it's like really fresh in my mind. So, um, my, my initial thoughts on like the Brandon Roy grind. So, like, I was all for it. Like, I mean, I had every intention of doing it because they scaled it back. So many games in this mode, that mode, and it was definitely quicker. But once I saw the T Mac drop for today, I said no. I'm not. I'm not going through it. It's one of those things where I know it's a little bit hard. Players have to release, but if I'm going to be spending that much time, playing 100 triple threat offline, which I don't really like to do, and 50 clutch offline or whatever it is, and really playing modes that I don't really care to do. I mean, it would either have to just be somebody personal for me. So like if a KD or someone's right there, perfect. but I'm probably just not getting sucked into those kind of like extra long or longer grinds, I would say. Because like I said, I mean, it helps too that 2K's for right now is doing a really good job with like the content too. Like we have that roadmap, and last roadmap we had a free set. This roadmap we have another free set. Like between those free sets, or honestly just like grabbing, a book, an AMI book, or an AMI TMAC. It's just I don't see myself doing really kind of like those completionist grinds, like I intended to be doing when I first saw it. So that's really the big one for me.
Fair. I've seen that a lot too. Like, play your own way. Don't get caught in the FOMO. That's kind of a trend, which is it's a good thing for sure. So I feel that. Spatial. Any impressions that change drastically?
Yeah, yeah. So through many discussions, shout out to all the old heads. Y'all know exactly who y'all are. And just kind of watching things shake out. I was a big fan of salary cap and super, super happy about the current state until about the first salary update and now this week. Just kind of seeing those salary values raised the way they have. I'm really not happy about that. And I'm saying that as somebody who's spending a little money. I actually loaded up some VC today because I'm getting Ben Wallace. But like I think that the current strategy that they have implemented to just kind of update the mode and keep it fresh doesn't work. And I don't think it'll work. I don't think it'll work for probably half this launch. When you consider that there are a sizable amount of no money spent players, I think, or just casual players who aren't going to be able to jump in and out of salary cap. And it's, in my view, the best shining star of my team this year, just in terms of being able to grab, like you said, some of those starter pack cards from Dom and really put them into place. You can't. And without like kind of revealing discussions, I know a few people were kind of saying like, hey man, they probably shouldn't mess with the values right now. And while I want the values to change, I think it's a hybrid of both, where starter card values need to stay static. They need to be at 600. They can't go up. Some of the gold cards, those values got to stay static. They can't go up. Cards and packs, in my opinion, those should be the ones that fluctuate obviously the most, right? For instance, this is the drop, y'all. Like the T-Mac drop, we don't typically get this type of T-Mac drop until like November, but now we're in September. So we should see in the next salary update, obviously those values should skyrocket because everybody is going to want to use those cards. Now, does it make that a bit harder for you to use your T-Mac? Yes, but to me, the goal is it should be. If you want to have a LeBron on your team in real life, LeBron costs a specific amount of salary unless he negotiates. So you want to use Amy T-Mac? Sorry, bro. His value is 4,000. So you're going to have to fill out the rest of your team with golds and try to thug it out. And that's what it should be. There was some pushback, and I want to publicly apologize to all the old heads, man, because I love those guys. At least for me, because I was getting a little jaded by the timelines, inability to see, that there is a state where I can see the dev team and 2K trying to get to where everything is flat, right? And everybody can enjoy the game. But as of right now, I've been trying it too. I literally can't fill the team I want to use in salary cap. And again, I'm paying for players. I can't fill the team that I want to play with because of those hidden gems, those gold cards, those emerald cards. Those values are similar to some of the new values in the packs. And now it's not a good state for the mode where people can't even play it. That's like really, really, really bad. So sorry to be long-winded, but that's probably my one opinion that has changed. Everything else, Dom, straight with. Unlimited, I'm straight with. Y'all know I don't play unlimited. I'm 6-1, and I'll probably be 6-1 until I'm not 6-1. And that's what it's going to be. But everything else, I'm messing with. I'm messing with TTO online. We really got to link up and get some TTO co-op for the Coast to Coast boys. We really got to get that done. Maybe get that on a stream or something. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at.
I'm glad. That's a great breakdown and a great take on that. It does feel like there has to be a little bit more balance with that. And I'm going to touch on that in a little bit too. As far as my kind of swing and impression, it also has to do with salary cap, and it has to do kind of from just the mode perspective. When I first heard how it was going to play out, it wasn't what I was kind of hoping and expecting. So I was like, and the format is really, really cool. The format of the game, the one half and then play to the target score is really, really cool. It's fun.
Get out the park.
So I retract my prior, grievances with that. That's a dope feature. It's really fun. So on that front, yes. And the other thing was, it's kind of, I've been up and down with shooting because I jumped into domination and I was playing some games on Superstar and I was like, bro, I am missing everything and it's frustrating and why. But I've kind of, that was kind of more of a skill issue and kind of finding timing and rhythm and whatnot, playing around with the visual cues and stuff like that. So that's changed a little bit, and I feel like it's an okay spot. We'll have to see how contests play out and how like easy it is to hit like highly contested shots as cards get better. That's one area where little cause for concern maybe down the line, but I haven't personally seen anything where I'm like, okay, man, this guy's hit 15 whites that are like highly contested on me, and that lost the game for me. I haven't personally seen that. So I'm curious to see if that sentiment is kind of like, well, it just happened to happen to you this one time in the game, and it was a big moment in the game, so it just totally skewed your perception of it. So you ran to the timeline and you ran to like be like, oh, this game is broken because this happened to me once. Like, I'm curious to see how that plays out over time. Maybe you got people in the comments can let me know their experiences on that, but there's that. I wanted to also touch on your salary cap pricing and stuff like that real quick. I'll try to get this out as quickly as I can. I definitely agree. Like if they're going to make it to where values for tiers are kind of overlapping drastically, it's kind of a broken thing, Like a new ruby shouldn't be less than an old emerald. You know what I mean?
Yep.
That's where you kind of like, and you can kind of play with it. It would be kind of interesting for it to kind of be on a bell curve where slightly newer cards are a little bit less than cards at the same tier, and then they kind of go up with usage or whatever, and then kind of taper down again as they get like a couple weeks in, so you can use some old favorites, stuff like that. But you can have this drastic changing where it's overlapping. So that's definitely something they need to fine tune. I'm not going to go ahead and say, oh, it's all broken and Mo's trapped. No, we don't do that here. We just say, let's make an adjustment. Of course, correct a little bit and go forward with that.
Yes.
All right. I had this jotted down. How are you guys handling creating content? So the balance between creating content, grinding the game, and just playing, just like having fun playing. So grinding meaning like getting these things done, like what you were talking about, Meech, that you don't really want to do, but like, I got to get this done. How are you guys balancing that? Creating content, grinding, and then just playing, just to enjoy the moment of playing.
Yeah, so for me, I guess so. YouTube wise, I'm trying to find more time for just streaming the game. Haven't found too much time for that, but for me, YouTube wise, I'm doing like a my team journey. So, I'm not locking myself behind like a no money spent. I'm not saying that I'm all money spent. Technically, the only money I've spent is the cost of the game. I bought the Hall of Fame pass, and then I did do like 30 extra dollars of VC, but that was from my player build. So, um, I'm doing like a my team journey type thing where it's just my experience with my team, whatever I'm kind of doing. Um, and kind of, I guess, how I'm balancing the most part is, kind of my commentary, like with cards I'm buying and kind of how I'm navigating through like menus and stuff. Like I'm doing that in real time. But for like the gameplay portion, I usually try to include a gameplay portion and what I'm doing to kind of try to make sure I'm doing content, but make sure I'm enjoying the moment is I play the game. I record the game, but I'm not talking. So my OBS is recording, my face cam is off, my microphone's off. I'm literally just playing, and then I'll go back and I'll voice over and I'll kind of talk to it. So that way, I'm kind of hitting two birds in one stone. I'm not having to be I don't know what's the word for it, but I'm not like, talking over, trying to be this content guy while I'm trying to enjoy the game. I enjoy the game, it's recording, and then when it's over, I go back voiceover, and then that's the content portion of it. So kind of a way that I found. I found that when I was trying to play and record like at the same time, like talking, kind of being like the YouTube guy while I'm trying to play, I found myself trying to do too much. I wasn't like enjoying myself because I'm trying to, like I'm talking and I'm, not focused or, I feel like I'm trying to do too much to what I'm saying and kind of match it. So for me, that's what I've kind of been doing and kind of how I'm managing it for the most part.
Good, good. Spatial. I see you. You got some series going on and stuff. How you balancing all three parts of that puzzle?
So it's kind of been a challenge for me, as you guys know. I'm a newer creator, really trying to just find my rhythm. I was talking to a work mentor who he's also trying to get into the content game on the photography side. You guys throw him a follow. His name is Justin Greenbaum, and what he suggested was getting a content calendar. And so I think that's kind of what I'm gonna do, where I like kind of schedule out like, okay, Fridays, obviously, coast to coast pod with my boys, throw out a stream, right? For Fridays. Midweek, I'm probably gonna record a video. I probably also try to record a video on Monday as well, like after the weekend too, in my perfect scenario. And then, supplement that with TikTok postings from, getting some game time in throughout the week, just so I keep that flooded with content. When I follow guys, shout out to our boy, everybody's boy, DFS. His whole thing has been about just pumping it out, right? Pumping it out, pumping it out, and just capturing. So I kind of had that approach. I did my first mix this week on Tiki Tick. That was pretty tight. But I do need to get some video editing software, which I'm kind of hedging on, and I don't really know why if I'm looking deep in myself, because I kind of similarly want to do like Meech is doing, where I'm talking over my footage so that I can, make something digestible for my Tiki Ticks or for the X timeline. So I'm trying to optimize while being productive. I'm a little disappointed that I didn't get as much content out this week that I wanted to, whereas I felt like last week I was a little bit better. And then I'm also thinking about just like what my brand is as a creator, like who I want to be out there, right? And also kind of keeping that sacred because I don't ever want to feel like I'm compromising myself. So I'm working through a bunch of different things, and just making sure that I'm actively thinking about and or doing something. That's really the goal.
And it's tough, man. It's tough to get all those pieces. Personally, I feel like I was like ready for the starting line, like right there in position, and then like gun fired off, go, and I just kind of like tripped and fell on my face. With content, I'm like, man, I had like 5 videos planned, and I think I've done like one. I'm almost done with another. So that part's been a little bit rough, and I just kind of, I guess I overestimated the amount of time I'd have to work on stuff. So between my window for streaming and then content, like making videos, it's kind of like in the same place. So I have to choose one or the other each day. And I have been trying to enjoy the game a little bit more. So I think I'm doing the best at that. It's just kind of just, like I'm not even going to stress this content doing this. I'm just going to play. I'm going to enjoy, kind of get lost in the moment and just kind of play some basketball. Kind of soak in this like new feeling of the game. So on that front, I think I've done a good job of that and just getting to know it, like getting to know the little details. It's like, getting to know somebody you just, a new spouse or whatever, that you're just getting to know all the little nuances of that person.
Right.
So all that to say is like, I guess I'm married to 2K now. I don't know, just been neglecting everything except for 2K. No, but it's been interesting. Pipelines are good to have. Content schedules are good to have. We can talk about video creation software and stuff like that a little bit later on. But all right, man, let's jump. Let's keep it moving. This is a hot topic here. Do we want to get into this? Is there anything else you guys want to add to gameplay? Because the next little bit is gonna take up a nice little chunk of Nice little chunk of time, I think.
I mean, let's get to it. Let's get to the hot topic and close on a high note or tense note. Let's do it.
All right, man. So my question is this game excessively pay to win? I want a one word yes or no, and then like a sentence of follow up, and then we'll dive into it. But I want to get everybody's kind of initial on the spot thoughts.
Okay. I think I got it. Is it pay to win? No. You want me to go into why, or do we just get into one word for?
Get a lot. You can have like a one sentence. Like
one sentence kind of
qualifying it.
Okay. Jones know what I'm about to say. It is not pay to win, simply because I have beaten people who have paid. It had to have been $400 to $500 something dollars. Like I said, I mean, I spent $20, but I haven't done anything else. You can't pay for skill. If you want to say, is it pay for an advantage, pay for convenience, whatever you want, whatever other little word you probably want to put in there, okay, I'll give that to you. But pay to win specifically, no. Can't buy skill.
All right. Jones?
All right, I got something hot, man. This might even have to be our clip because I know a lot of folks are going to disagree. Is NBA 2K24 my team pay to win? No. And my opening argument, or the argument I'm making, is no money spent players cannot parade around as if they are trying to own all of the cards like all money spent players in this current environment, in this current version of my team. That's what I'm basing my argument around.
All right. So is my team pay to win? It is 100% pay to win. 100%.
Whoa! Okay. Whoa!
It's always kind of been pay to win. It's much more pay to win this year than ever has been. However, okay, is it necessarily pay to have fun, pay to enjoy the game? No, absolutely not. Is it something where we have a better system overall than before? Yeah, I would say so. Okay. But 100% it's pay to win. the kind of definition, the term pay to win, is kind of what you kind of try to slide in there. Pay, do you get an advantage playing to win more games, all else being equal, by simply paying money? So if you have an endless supply of cash to throw, you have T-Mac today, you have Giannis today, you have Kyrie, you have this whole lineup that is infinitely better than somebody that isn't spending a dime. I just got the base version with no pre-order bonus, with no nothing. So yes, is it pay to win? Absolutely, it is. You get a huge advantage and you get it right away. In the past, some of that pay to win, advantage was a little bit negated by terrible odds, where it's just like, bro, you're just tossing your money into a furnace. And again, I think it's better to have it the way we have it now, where it's just like, hey, you want that card? Go get it, man. Go do your thing. Now I say that not being judgmental about, okay, you want to pay for these cards. You want to pay because you're at a comp level and you're playing against other dudes that have all these cards and you're on equal footing skill wise. Do your thing. I don't care. That's not my judgment to make. Now what Meech was saying about skill levels being, I mean, that's obviously a thing. I mean, there's going to be somebody that is brand new to 2K that jumps on, that buys every card, matches up against me, who's like a mid-tier, skill level dude, and I'm going to wipe the floor with them. I'm going to beat them by 50, So it doesn't negate skill all the way. It's not like, well, it's an automatic. You're not buying wins, unless you're sliding them a little something on the Cash App or something, but so it's not to that level. But and all things being equal, skill wise, whatever, or in the same ballpark, absolutely, it's pay to win. So that's kind of my take on that. And I know that's a little bit different approach than what you guys have been saying, but that's kind of my take. You guys feel free to jump in. Feel free to roast me. Feel free to, counterpoint,
Oh,
whatever.
first, Meech, I want to know your counter to the argument that my team is pay to win.
No, he's not wrong. That's the thing. Elevate's not wrong because, okay, there has been, I mean, a few games, where someone, like, just by playing, and this is not like, overconfidence or cocky stance, but like, I know that I was better than this dude, but, he had Kyrie, Sean Marion, and Bogut, and every single thing. And it's just those key little things. I'm like, okay, you got it, or whatever, however you want. So I mean, it definitely is. I think I just take it very literal when like it win aspect of it. I guess is what I'm taking specifically. That's why I say you can name it pay for an advantage, pay to get ahead. I'm gonna agree with all of those because it is. Like, I mean, someone in this game right now, someone on day one had every single card that had released, like the minute it dropped.
Right.
So like, and whereas, if like, I got some extra stuff with the pre-order stuff, but let's say I didn't get that and I had to build from ground, I would have just had some golds, maybe a sapphire Kobe, like, oh yeah, obviously. And if I matched up against that person, I would have got Curbstone. Like, it just is what it is. But um as a fool, and what I take pay to win as, it's just, if you literally pay, it doesn't make you win. I mean, it makes you win in the sense that you got ahead and collect a level and that you have free carbon for someone else. But that's just the way that I take it. So it's kind of a weird one. My answer's still no, but I do 100% agree with Elevate's take on it and his, version of what that pay to win is.
All right. Here's my counter. So I've been thinking about it. Again, shout out to the old heads. Y'all know who y'all are, man. I love you guys so much. So pay to win, logically, and by definition, Elevate, you are 1,000% right. Right? You pay to gain an advantage. So to Meech's point and your point, you're right. When you pay money, right, a few $100 on launch, even if you got the standard edition, you could have every single card, right? You can outright buy every single card. So you have the advantage of having different players. That is an advantage. There's no doubt about that. Now, my counter is this. If you were a no money spent player last year and in other versions, how long did you have to be a no money spent player scouring the market before you even got to play to get your skills right to compete? Because from what I see, at least in those other versions of my team, you could be no money spent, you could play the market, you could buy MT, which some people consider that no money spent too, because you're not spending money with 2K, right?
That's not
counted.
no money spent.
No, I'm just saying.
Let's just
No
make that real
judgment
clear
for
for
anybody that
everybody.
bought MT, man. No judgment. I get it. So you're doing that, but to me, no money spent players are wanting to function as a money spent player. That's your goal. If I pay, and I'm saying this is I spend thousands of dollars on my team. That's what I do. I'm allowed to do that. It is my hobby. I'm passionate about sports gaming. I would do it in live because I've done it. That's what I do. I ain't telling nobody to do nothing. However, you can't claim morally to be no money spent, not really want to grind by playing the game and earn anything, but you want to have all the cards so you can have the same advantage. You basically want to be an all money spent player without spending money, right? So in this current iteration of my team, you don't have to do any of that. You could say, I'm not spending any money. I don't want to give 2K a dime. And if you like the version of this 2K, if you like it, you can play the game so that you can function as an all money spent player right now. We did the math. You play 5 games a day. 5 games a day, that's 2.5 hours of Dom. Most hardcore gamers are giving up 2.5 hours to game. So you walk away with about 20, almost 25K MT every day. And you're not even thinking about it. You don't even have to play unlimited. You could just go, I'm going to beat the hell out of the Charlotte Hornets every day for 5,000 MT every day. okay? And you're going to walk away with over 100K every week. There was no version of my team, and I'm not familiar with any version of a gotcha game or a sports game where you could gain that much coin to buy who you want just from simply playing like an idiot. If we're going to intellectually do the exercise, okay? So in my eyes, and while I will give it up, I'll say Elevate and anybody else, shout out to all the other creators who are making this argument too that it's pay to win. If you're intellectually saying, well, Jones, that's not correct, you got it. I'm not going to lie to you, but you're not going to lie to me about what you're trying to accomplish either. We're going to keep it all the way, and it's got to go both ways, okay? So you got to do the work. I like playing 2K, man, and I got a job. I'm earning, if I'm just playing and I'm knocking about 5 games a day, I'm earning about 20K a day. That is a lot of MT. Like, there's no other way to slice it. There's no other way to slice it. And I don't see 2K lowering those rates. At least we're 2 weeks in, we haven't seen it, right? That's fair. So you can pay and be all money spent all you want. And you can buy who you want. You could, if you want 300K, you take, what is it? Because that's how much it costs T-Mac. To get T-Mac, I just saw it. If you want 300K, that's going to take you a little bit longer. That might take you about 2.5 weeks. But hopefully you get some deal of the days to where you're getting something within your budget and you're not going empty broke in the second week to get T-Mac, right? Because that's also the issue, because now you got to rebuild that economy back up. But those things are also possible while earning free rewards, while earning additional MT, because there's XP goals and agendas, even with season level. I think DFS is crazy. He's earning season level without paying. And it took him about a week and a half, I think, to get Kyrie. So he's probably earned a crap ton of MT. And he's buying and earning who he wants along the way to fund his team and fund his collection, right? Getting other sets done, possibly, depending on, how he's using his MT. You can be economical and then still be able to get who you want. I think there's this idea of like having every player, like even as an all money spent player, if you want to call me that, I don't have this idea that I get to have all the players. If I buy packs, I'm buying packs, and my money isn't infinite. I don't have infinity money, cheat on in my house to where like I'm earning every player every week.
Can you slide?
Hey man,
So,
if your boy Jones got it, you got to know he's giving it, but I ain't got it. So at the end of the day, like, there's a cutoff point. But now, at least for me as a spender, it is a very clear path on what I can spend to get, or what I'm going to get the moment I spend, which I feel better about as a spender. I literally press square and I have Ben Wallace. Happy days for me, happy days. I'm good. And then I can also earn some players to then, from the set, I would imagine, because there's probably some agenda goals, to give me some of that MT back. I won. And then I'm also going to play. This is before playing. If you were no money spent, I don't know if you were getting those type of opportunities by sniping and doing all that stuff and listing and unlisting and you weren't really playing. The thing this year is you play to earn, and it is a healthy rate. So in this environment where there is a clear option and a clear pathway, in my view, that makes it not pay to win. That makes it play to earn. And if you don't like to play, well, then you have a different issue. And in my opinion, if you don't like to play that much, that might mean you don't like to play 2K. And you got to look at yourself and go, well, what am I spending my time on? Not to be judgy, but that's how I feel. That's my thought. Because I think this no money spent thing is a facade for people that just want to be all money spent, just their own way. That's my argument. I rest my case.
So I agree with everything you said there, except for the fact that it doesn't make it pay to win. but that's exactly why I explain myself a little bit with, it's not pay to have fun. It's not pay to enjoy the game. It's not pay to be in a better spot than we were last year with stuff, because all that is all valid. And I like the system and I applaud the system for what it is. And I don't think the game is necessarily more fun if you have all the cards at your disposal,
I agree with that too.
If it's like when you buy like your kids a toy or something, and you get them a new toy every single hour on the hour. Like, they don't care about the toy they got last hour if it's like that constantly, and they're not valuing or appreciating or getting to know some of those like more budgety cards that are super effective, that can be super fun. I mean, like I said, I've mentioned Mike Bibby a couple times. Go play the Kings in domination and scoop him up, man. That guy is filthy, and it's fun as hell to just saw somebody up and drain a three with them, on their Dame Lillard or whatever it may be, on their whoever's guarding me. That it's really, really fun to do that. And you can have a lot of fun playing and just playing basketball, like you say. They've set up an environment where it's conducive to playing the game and just enjoying your time on the game and getting rewarded for that time that you invest into it. And I 100% agree with your take. If you're in a mindset where it's like, well, I hate playing the game, I just wanted to spend all my time on maybe this is not the game for you. And again, with no judgment, no whatever, it's just the facts. It's like, okay, if you're not having fun playing, like why are you loading up? You know what I mean? Why are you doing this? Go play like some other like game with the marketplace and stock trader simulator, whatever it may be, or go try your hand at the real stock market or whatever it may be. Like do some other stuff. And don't get me wrong, I've had years where I've really enjoyed the marketplace. I've enjoyed the auction house. I've enjoyed the thrill of sniping a card for super cheap when he's super expensive. Building and whatever. I've enjoyed that aspect. So I'm not discrediting the validity of enjoying that aspect of it. But when it overshadows playing basketball and it's just like, well, I hate the gameplay. I hate everything about this game except for this. There's other issues. There's deeper issues there. Yeah. All right. I know we're getting kind of tight on time. We got maybe like another like 5-ish, 10-minute-ish minutes. The last thing I want to jump into is the state of the 2K community, man. I don't know if we have enough time to do that all in 5-10 minutes.
That could be a whole episode, man.
That really could be, and maybe we'll touch on this. One of the big things I want to do with this this sphere, this podcast, this space, is cultivating the culture of the community.
Yeah.
Okay.
1,000%.
And all three of us are here and are vibing with each other and agreed to do this because of a certain mindset that we all share with the community. And we have differing opinions on how to play the game, styles of play the game. We have a lot of stuff, but we can kind of meet in the middle with some very core principles of being respectful, of being uplifting, of giving thought to things, of kind of diving into the conversation for the sake of the curiosity of diving into the conversation, not for the sake of being right about our sake of the conversation. So let's dive into it, man. I got a couple little bullet points here. I'm going to merge two of them because, again, time. So complaining versus feedback, and then incessant negativity on the timeline. Let's get some quick thoughts on how you guys perceive those types of things, and we'll keep it moving. We'll give Meech the first crack at this.
Yeah, I'm all for, people expressing themselves in every way. We're all human, Sometimes I've gotten on the timeline and I'll randomly spew off some stuff, but a lot of that's just maintaining, perspective, especially, us who have kind of, a little bit more of a voice. You have to know that stuff carries, We're not just, talking to an empty void in space. Like, the things that we say, and not even just us, everybody, we're all in the, kind of this together, but things that we say, they resonate with people, we're all here to, enjoy 2K. That's the space that we pull in. So when you're basically just throwing out, negative comments, or you're literally just complaining, and it's easy to decipher when it's that versus criticism. You're not providing any solutions. And so all you're doing is, in turn, making other people buy into the negativity. It's weighing on them. And they either don't want to deal with it and they don't want to, look at any of that, or they just buy in and they kind of go into it, and it only escalates and escalates. And now all of a sudden, this space that we all are supposed to share and enjoy it's unbearable. You
Yes.
don't want to look at it. So I'm all for pointing out, things that are wrong and things, but like let's give some solutions to it. We don't have to approach everything with, this is trash, just whatever. Or even if we say this is trash because I think that it should function like XYZ.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of, some of my takes on it. And then really quick, what was the second one? I know he said
it was all rolled. It was complaining versus feedback,
well,
where you touched on, and incessant negativity. So you've touched on both kind of points, and that hits home real, like for real. There was a lot of times during this past week where I just legitimately didn't want to be on the timeline, and frankly questioned my desire to be a part of the community, like to be like a voice in the community. I was just like, bro, do I really like? Should I just like go back to just enjoying 2K quietly on my own without like having to like be plugged in and being a voice or whatever, And I kind of had to kind of check myself and be like, no, like this is why you became more vocal in the community, is to kind of help change the culture and try to show people that there's a kind of a different space that you can operate in and another group of people you can hang with that are going to approach it a different way, Jones, I'm gonna let you touch on that, man.
Yeah, man. Just to kind of like build on you guys' points and not take too much time. I think, man, like Meech was saying, I think you got to know which bucket you're in, right? If you want to complain, it is your right to complain. You spent your money. Like that's no one can take that from you. Whether you're DBG, whether you're Splash, whether you're Ty, whoever you are, like you are allowed to do that. I think my gripe just becomes when I see people attacking, because for us to be out here, just as a new creator getting in the space, you're kind of unveiling yourself, right? Like you're showing who you are. And when I see somebody like Jazz, have to take mental health breaks, that bothers me.
Yeah,
that
got me
because that's unnecessary. It's unnecessary. Now the comp guys, the Steezo guys, the guys like TJ every day who's got real time and money spent in the game, like real time, they have a right to feel those things. But this idea, like constantly attacking next makers, is corny, and people got to stop being corny. Like, because Jazz doesn't work for 2K. I do not work for 2K, man. I work for a different company. All these people who are taking their time to just be amongst people and share time and space with you, they're doing that to be relatable so that we can all find common ground and go forward with enjoying the game. Shout out to Boom. She's literally doing spaces every day. She's doing spaces every day. And then what she's doing is immediately throwing that feedback to 2K. Immediately. She's summarizing everybody's thoughts to give it to 2K. That is, you don't attack those people, man. Like that, and it doesn't make sense. It's pointed. I understand people need somewhere to point their frustrations, but like talking to Czar about servers, that's stupid, man. He don't work on servers, bro. Talking to Mike Wang about server issues and latency, that's stupid, bro. That's not his area, man. You're not even pointing your ire in the right spot. And that's what is bothersome. And I think that has to stop. There's no place for that. That we got to get beyond that, because none of us are children. The children are honestly acting better than us, because you see them and they're 19, 10 saying bro, bro, bro all day. And they're just kind of staying amongst themselves, you know? Like I've seen some of those guys in those rooms with delivering feedback. I've seen somebody as young as statistics, be as mature as myself with delivering his feedback. And you literally watch the developers, kind of like a light bulb goes off and then they want to change something, because we're all people, man. We're all people and all of our perspectives are valuable, but we're not going to get anywhere attacking each other at all. I don't care what side you're on. And so everybody kind of needs to grow up.
Very well said, man. And that Jazz stuff, it really hit, because Jazz is, bro, he
all time good dude, all time good brother.
And he does this, like he does this thing where he has mastered the art of kind of really going after what needs to be changed in a very direct and impactful way, while still remaining tactful, while still remaining professional. And like you said, like, I mean, I haven't met him personally, but giving off that vibe of just like, man, this is a good dude. Like he does not have malice in his heart towards me. And so those things, it's difficult to, and we really need a whole podcast dedicated to this to really dive into it. But there has to be just a way. And I mean, I think we're already making strides, and there's a whole wave of like creators that are on this kind of like more mellow, positive. Like, I don't care what your play style, I don't care how good you are at the game. There's a spot for you at the table. Come hang out.
Yes.
DFS has kind of birthed the whole generation of content creators,
Yes.
from T Smalls to Jimmy Crack Corn to Stogie to whoever. There's way too many people to name, but that are on that. So there's a place, there's a spot. So I welcome everybody to kind of like hop on board. Give your eyes to those people that are making an effort to dive into the issues, to keep it more tactful, to keep it more professional. And I heard you say it yesterday, like in the real world, man, like your words carry consequence and how you're perceived down the line. It just doesn't all disappear, It's not like, oh, you go off, you go crazy, and then tomorrow, like, oh, hey, what's up? No, like that's not how it is. The perception that people have of you is going to linger. And the longer that perception gets ingrained by your constant habits and your patterns of speech and how you communicate, the longer it's going to take for those patterns to change, which you can always say, hey, from this day forward, I'm going to approach things differently, but it's still going to linger. Your reputation's going to linger. So I encourage you guys to, be better, man. We're all in this. We're all just playing 2K at the end of the day, Any closing thoughts? I know, Meech, you gotta run, man. Any real closing thoughts real quick?
No, man. I mean, really, this was a good podcast. I feel like we can pick up next one, even, kind of have maybe elaborate more on that, because I know we all kind of want to maybe get into it a little bit more. So have that as an opener. But yeah, man, just be kind, man. Like try to find your enjoyment. There's ways to find the enjoyment out here. It doesn't all have to be the end of the world. And I always say it, and sometimes I get bashed for it and not, man. But like, if you're not enjoying yourself, dude, there's so many more things you can do to enjoy yourself out here. Even if it's on the game, go hop on MLB, go hop on Starfield. I mean, man, Mortal Kombat just dropped. If it's not gaming, man, like go outside, man. Actually, like there's so many more things to just direct. No one is forcing you to do these things, and the kind of the comment, it's the only basket. I get it, man. Like basketball is inked into my skin.
Mhm.
And I even last year went full MLB for like months, man. Like if it's not working, it's just not working, man. So you know, don't be so down to where you're affecting other people. Don't be so down to where you're making yourself that miserable over something. Because like we said, it's just a game, man. It really is. It's really all it is. And I guess the final thing, all I gotta say is, and Derrick Rose and Scottie Pippen are 140K MT, and I got 280. So like, I'm getting both today, and I'm
There
happy.
you go.
All from grinded. That's all. I grinded the game like Spacey said. I'm getting both of the Emmys I want, and I'm gonna just start building my MC back up.
Top players in the game. Top players in the game. He's just going to buy him. That's all I'm saying. Hey.
Oh man. All right, man. We'll wrap it up, man. Thank you guys so much for taking time out to do this thing. I'm enjoying the hell out of this podcast, this space that we got going on, man. So shout out to both of you for just being amazing human beings. Much love, man, and we'll catch you guys next time.
Peace from coast to coast.
Deuces.